Welcome to the Coach Toolbox. I'm your host, Dr. Ajay Nangalia, a leadership coach and counselor. This channel supports your professional and personal development as a leader with research-based and practice-focused learning. And we bring you the best career and life advice from guests who've been there and done that successfully. And now, our session today.
So let's talk today about how to make lifestyle changes that actually succeed and that stick. And while I'm going to talk essentially about health and fitness and wellness, these principles, these issues can apply to any aspect of our life that you want to change. So when you want to make some lifestyle changes to get fitter, healthier, less stressed, lose weight, once again, you've tried this before, you've tried, but last time, many times, but you've never really been able to succeed and to get it to stick. That's the real issue. You see, so many of us set this intention to get fit or move towards a healthier lifestyle, maybe give up some junk food, go easy on the booze, start exercising, and we even take a few steps, but very soon our efforts collapse. Some folks have tried so many fitness fads and diets, and I've been one of those, that nothing works for them. And so they get this cynical attitude, yeah, been there, done that, nothing works for me. So if you're going to talk today about making lifestyle changes, about moving towards health and wellness, what do you need to do differently this time? So here's the secret. Before you start to do anything, it's vital to learn to think about your health and fitness and wellness differently. So before you do anything, the starting point is to learn to think differently about these issues, whether it's health, fitness, wellness, or any other change issue. If you understand the concepts of health and wellness in a fresh way, in a way that is supported by evidence-based research, by science, then your chances for success are almost guaranteed. If you plan on just starting the latest fad or exercise program, especially because someone from your social media is doing it, then you risk another very short-term effort that won't get you lasting changes because it does not work for your lifestyle, your body, and your goals. So in our conversation today, before you rush out to do anything, let's learn how to think about health and fitness and losing weight and so on in a radically different way. Okay, so we've got that. What is now the right way to think about these things? What are the pieces that I must get on the board and how must I arrange them before I make the first move? And as I had mentioned earlier, while the focus in my conversation today is health and wellness specifically, the principles apply to almost any behavior change that you want to make. Only when you've set the board with the right pieces are you ready to make the first move, not before that. So here are some new ways of thinking about behavior change that you must internalize as you prepare to start your wellness journey. This will help you plan lifestyle changes that are sustainable and that you can embed as part of your life. Therefore, our goal is to help you start the journey with some strategic thinking and planning. So the first mindset change is to get out of this quick fix, instant result expectation. You see, it's taken many years of abuse or lack of use to bring your body to where it is today. So why do you believe it's possible to undo all this damage in 10 days or even a few weeks? No matter what the advertisement says, it's just an advertisement. They just want to hook you. There is no science to spot reduction or to instant change or to changes in 10 days, 5 days, 4 days, whatever. Depending on where you are at, you need a minimum of 3 months at least of consistent, sustained exercise and nutrition changes to start seeing and experiencing difference at multiple levels, whether it's physical or emotionally, or at your blood chemistry level and so on. So give yourself at least 3 to 6 months, I'd say 6 months, to really make it an integral part of your life. And to ensure this success, you need to make changes in terms of physical activity and nutrition. And these changes have to be sustainable and integral to your lifestyle. So we are talking about small steps. We are talking about things that are easier for you to integrate and not short-term quick fixes. So that's the first mindset change, to make it part of things that will work and fit within your life and not quick fixes. The second mindset change is to prepare for the potholes on the journey. Potholes or the lapses that are invariably likely to happen. So if you live in Bangalore, you know that potholes on the road are part of our daily driving experiences. In the same way, be ready for lapses that will happen because of work schedules or events, life challenges, and so on. These are the potholes in our wellness journey. Now, your genius is to prepare for these lapses in advance as much as possible. So have a plan to reboot as soon as the lapse occurs. So if there's a wedding in the family and you know there will be food and festivities, what's your plan to recover after that? How will you adjust your physical activity and nutrition to get back on track? A smart strategy is to think through how you can enjoy the festival without completely derailing your gains. What will help you be more mindful with food and drink through the event, through the festival, through the holiday? How can you get some physical movement or exercise in? So planning for life events and lapses is critical to success in the long term. It's not a question of whether these potholes will happen, but when. So it's better to be prepared. The third shift in thinking that we need to make is appreciating that getting a better level of health, fitness, and wellness is not just a matter of eating less and exercising more. Of course, there is truth in this, but it's just too simplistic a model for so many of us. If it was so easy and so simple, none of us would be overweight. In truth, behavior change is more complex, and there is no one guaranteed way to do it. The secret is you have to find a way that's ideal for you and that works for you. To help us make sense of the complexity of health behavior change, the biopsychosocial model and the ecological model of behavior change helps us recognize the multiple factors that are involved in making behavior changes. Taking into account the impact of these factors and planning with them in mind gives you a strong chance of success. Biopsychosocial model shows us that we need to keep our own body and physical aspects in mind. We need to work with our way of thinking and our personality, and we need to take into account the social context within which we live. The ecological model highlights that our interpersonal relationships, our support structures, the community we live in all have an impact on the change process. You see, behavior change is influenced by the environment within which we live and work, and therefore it's more than just calories in and calories out. And by environment, I mean family environment, our friend circle, the neighborhood, the community one lives in, and so on. For example, if a person lives in a joint family where all the meals and snacks are rich in carbohydrates and sugars, and meals are generally times where everyone eats heartily, then it's so much harder for one person to make sustainable diet changes in such an environment. In another family, there might be a culture of exercise, yoga, playing sport, right from the elders onwards. It's so much easier in such a family environment to start adopting physical activity as compared to a family which has a sedentary lifestyle. It's therefore important to understand the environmental context within which you live and work and adapt your wellness to take into account these factors. Now remember, the good news is that if your environment does not allow one particular activity, you can always find options that are equally good and effective. For example, talking about the physical environment of the community in which you live, you may not have a place which has a safe running track, or you may not be able to jog or run, but you can try out jump rope or high intensity exercises or many other options that will work for you on your terrace, in your garden. You don't really need so much space. You could start with yoga. So there's no reason to use environmental or social factors and as an excuse to avoid doing something. Therefore, as you start thinking about your wellness plan, keep in mind some of the barriers and how you can work around them. And in addition to barriers, keep in mind what are the supporting factors and how you leverage them in your journey. The barriers and the supporting factors. Do this exercise. List down the barriers in your wellness plan and the supporting factors. And for each of the barriers, list down ways to overcome or minimize them. And for your supporting factors, list down ways you can leverage them. This thinking and planning is critical so that you are able to build support into your system. And remember to plan for lapses that will inevitably occur and have your recovery and reboot plan ready to put into action. Now, let's move towards some specific thinking and planning. Here are some questions that will help you think and plan your wellness journey effectively. Remember, you want to adopt changes in your lifestyle around nutrition and physical activity that are sustainable for you. So question number 1, what changes do I need to make in the way I manage my diet, my nutrition? How can I get support from my family or significant other? What changes will stick over the long term? For example, many people start a keto diet or try to go vegan when their family structure is either against it or it's hard to support such a practice over the long term. My point is that if the environment is not supportive for a long-term change, then you need to modify it to something that works for you. For example, many of us men in the Indian social context, it's important to have our spouse on our side to support our nutrition and healthy diet management. So getting her on board is part of successful implementation. The next area we need to think about is what changes do you need to make in your social circle to support your wellness journey. So it's hard to stick to a proper nutrition and exercise plan if you party with friends a few times a week or hang out with work buddies for drinks in the evening or are in a circle that does beer and pizza the entire weekend while watching TV. Unless there are changes at this level, your fitness journey is a non-starter. So what changes will support you? Which friends will support you? How can you lean on them and get them to be your allies? How can you start hanging out with folks whose values on health and wellness align with yours? You see, changes in social relationships and practices are essential to support your behavior change, else your social life will continually sabotage your health gains. So be strong enough to get a new circle of friends if you need to. And the last thing you need to think and plan about is how does your community or neighborhood space support your journey? Is there a park or lung space where you can get out for a walk or jog? What about a nearby fitness center? If none of these are there, surely you have some space in which you can do some free body weight exercises or yoga or skip rope or perhaps take some online classes. There are so many options if you are able to think and plan it in your calendar. So let's bring our conversation to a close. The essence of what I'm trying to say is that if we want to make health and wellness changes in our life that succeed and stick, we need to think about the influence of these ecological, social, biological, and psychological factors. Our strategic wellness plan must include the barriers that can come up and how we will deal with them and recognize the support structures that we can use to help us move ahead. Unless now there is some really extreme physical or medical reason and you fall into this exceptional category, there is absolutely no reason, no excuse for you to not start taking baby steps towards a plan to make it happen. There are many episodes on this channel itself that will give you evidence-based information on wellness. So check them out and hit the subscribe button too. And if you'd like to work with a health and wellness coach to support your journey, then do reach out to me and let's explore how we can make it happen for you. Finally, start with adopting a positive mindset, a growth mindset towards your own wellness and health, and you will find ways to making lifestyle changes that move you forward in the long term. Good luck.
And that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Please connect with us on coachtoolbox@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, and review this channel. Details of our ICF-approved coach training programs and our services as executive coaches and coaching supervisors are on www.globalcoachtrust.org. See you in our next session.